problem of a different color. This is a problem that's got two unknowns. Richard bought pizza and sodas. Jordan also bought pizza and sodas. Now we know what the total cost was for everything on the tray as he went through the cashier, but we don't know what the actual price was of a slice of pizza, nor do we know what the cost was for a single soda. And that's what we're asked for at the end. How much would an order of one slice of pizza and 3 sodas cost? So we've got two unknowns here. So let's go ahead and identify these by a variable. Let's see, slice of pizza. And let's say cost of. And I'm going to say that's equal to the variable P. And then the cost of a soda, I'm going to say that's the variable S. So that makes our problem a little bit easier to start to put together. So let's read the first one. It says Richard bought 3 slices of cheese pizza. Okay, so let's do Richard. And he bought 3 slices of pizza. And since this is the cost of the pizza, then if I multiply 3 times the cost of each, I get the total cost of 3 slices. And how many sodas did he get? He got 2 sodas.
2.
And he paid $8.75. Now, his friend Jordan, he bought 2 slices of pizza and 4 sodas. So Jordan is obviously the one that's more thirsty, right? He bought twice as many sodas as Richard, and he paid a total of $8.50. So there are our 2 equations, and there are our 2 unknowns. Now, how do we solve this? Well, there's several ways to do it. As you go through your courses later, you will find that we can do this graphically, draw these equations as linear equations and see where they intersect. Do that. We could do it by substitution. We could solve this equation for one of the variables, solve this for P, and then substitute it into here. And there's a third way. It's called the addition method. And we're going to add these down. And that's the one we're going to use here. Let me give an example of that. Let's say that I have x plus y is equal to 7. And x minus y is equal to 1. So what are the values of x and y? Well, if I add these down, x plus x is 2x, plus y and minus y goes to 0, and 7 plus 1 is 8. Now, how do I solve for x? Remember, do the opposite, right? This is a multiplication, so I divide. So I'm going to divide by 2, and I get x is equal to 4. So if this is 4, this is 4, I think you can see that, well, then y has got to be 3. That will give you your answers here. Okay, so what I have to do then to make this process work with that is I've got to get them to have one of the variables has the opposite sign. Same coefficient, 1 and 1, opposite sign. So if I can get these 2 to have the same coefficient, 4 and 4, but opposite sign, plus and minus, then when I add them, this will go to 0 and I can solve for the variable P. All right, so how do I do that? Well, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to multiply this equation times 2. I'm going to multiply it by a minus 2. Now, you might ask, well, that's changing the whole equation. Well, it's going to change the look, but it's not going to change the equality, because I'm going to multiply this by every piece. This one, and this one. So let's see, minus 2 times that would be minus 6p. Minus 2 times that one would be minus 4s. And minus 2 times that one, this is where I always mess up. Let's see, 2 times that is 16 plus $1.50, $17.50. Keep me honest on this one. I think that's right. So now I've got this new equation. It's a variation of Richard's. So let's add these 2. is 2p, take away 6p is a negative 4p. Same variable, same coefficient, but this is a plus and minus, those go to 0 when I add them. 850 take away 1750 would be $9. Now we've talked about this. I have a coefficient here in front of the variable, so I do the opposite. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. And I get the cost of the pizza is equal to, what is that? $2.25. I think that's right. Okay, well, we've got the price of the pizza. Well, how do I find the cost of the soda? Well, I can substitute this into any one of these three. Let's substitute it into the Jordan equation. So he says 2 slices of pizza, but we know that costs $2.25. Plus 4 sodas. And that equals $8.50. So let's see, 2 times 225 would be $4.50 plus 4 sodas equals $8.50. Now we want to isolate this variable. So I've got this $4.50 over here. It has to get over here with the other dollars, so I'll subtract it from both sides. Do the opposite. This was a plus, so I subtract. And when I do that, this goes to 0, this becomes 4s, and this becomes 850, take away 450 is just, it's just $4. So then we can say, well, s is equal to $4 divided by this 4, right? Do the opposite, this is a multiplication, so we divide, and so this cost of the soda is equal to $1. So let's highlight those. We found the slice of the pizza and we found the slice of the cost of the soda. Now, the question though before us wasn't how much did each one cost,